Hello, and welcome to episode 185 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley, going to be hacking on some Firefoxy stuff today. I'm so happy to have you here. It's July 31st, 2019. We're at the end of July, and August is starting soon. If you're one of those people who's still in school and school starts in September, you've only got 1 month left. 1 month of summer remaining in the Northern Hemisphere. But that's okay because I'm actually looking forward to the autumn. I like the autumn. It's my favorite. So glad to have you here. Let me switch. Wow, hold on a second. I just realized that there was like this big glitch behind my head. There's like maybe some lighting issues. I'm just going to move my green screen a little bit. If you see big glitches around my head, I apologize. Let me switch now to my desktop so you can see. Today is episode 185. A reminder, if you're new to the stream, that no plan survives breakfast. I don't know what's going to happen during the stream. I have a sense of what I want to do, but whether or not that actually takes place, unclear. I'm going to do my best. Things might not go totally according to plan, and that's okay. You know, I'm capturing software development in the raw here, in the rough. So if things go wrong and I get side railed or sidetracked, that's part of it. That's part of the adventure. But we'll get lost together. The other thing I wanted to point out is that this agenda that we're looking at is something you have access to. If you are watching this on Air Mozilla, check out the handout section over here. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out the video description down below. And if you're watching this on Twitch, like I know some of you are, then let me drop a link into the Twitch chat right now. Here's the agenda. Boom. The other thing is that I believe that we're streaming properly to YouTube today. I don't know what happened last week, but the repeater wasn't working streaming to YouTube, but that should be working now. Hopefully, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're seeing me live. Maybe if you're in the live hacking IRC channel, maybe just send me a quick message. Let me know that it's working, because I'm pretty sure it's working, but just double check. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to shout out is that there is an episode guide. This is something that I talk about for briefly to the beginning of each episode because I think it's useful. This is a useful resource that is entirely viewer maintained. So viewers just like you help to create this episode guide so that for each episode there is a guide. We've got up until episode 183 from July 17th, and here are the things that are in there. You get a link to the episode, a link to the agenda, links to the bugs I worked on, or maybe some of the things that I was supposed to do, handy other links or information. Sometimes you get a link, or you get some of the topics I cover, like some tricks on how you can use Mercurial differently. There's some interesting stuff in there, and it's entirely viewer driven. In fact, if you yourself want to contribute, you're welcome to. There are links. Apparently YouTube works, but it's named episode 184. How embarrassing. Let's update that right now. 1 second. Yeah, that should have been updated. And updated. Oh, nice and green. 0 people watching though. How sad. I don't know whether or not other people are going to show up soon, but it's lonely here. This is a lonely number. 0. They say 1 is the loneliest number. 0 is even lonelier. If you're interested in contributing to the episode guide, you can view the repository on GitHub, and you can send a pull request to add more episodes, or maybe to update some of the previous episode guides. Maybe you want to add some notes or addenda or corrections or whatnot. And if you're not sure how to do that, check out this contribute document, which Danny Colin from the internet helped to update this for the new way that we do the episode guide. He simplified it. We're using this really excellent Jekyll static site generation script that does a lot of the hard work, heavy lifting for us. So Danny has really laid out exactly what you need to do here in order to add a new episode. And in fact, I believe we have one in the pipe from Smurf D. Good old Smurf D has our link from actual episode 184. Let's take a look at the patch. We're using the default layout. He's got the right date there. It was July 24th. And then this is the link for the episode. I like to check these links just to make sure that they're up to date. Yeah, that's episode 184. This was last week. And then the Evernote agenda. This should be last week's 184. Yes, it is. And then what did he write? Subframe crashing was broken. Yeah, that's what we were looking at last week. Everything Borkin. And then he noted that Danny Cullen added the pull request stuff. Or he added a pull request to change how the episode guide worked. And I also added a guide on how to set up a Matrix home server. That's right. So I love it. This is a great episode guide for episode 184. Thank you, Smurfd, merging that in right now. Booyah. And always say thank you to your contributors. So thank you so much. So episode 184 should be in the episode guide shortly, now that that's merged in. What do I want to work on today? Well, a couple things. First off, that subframe crashing thing that we were looking at last week. I can actually pull open the link. So I wrote in the bug what was going on, what we discovered last week, which was, we have these two, like this is the crashing stack, and here's the stack that causes us to get into the condition for us to crash. Those slightly different things. And it turns out that one of my colleagues, Andreas Farr, is going to help us figure this out. I talked to him earlier today, and I think he has a sense of what needs to go on. So there's a bit of back-end effort that our DOM team is going to take care of, and then I can sort of take the rest of it over the line to finish the subframe crashing behavior. But for now, I'm going to halt this work because DOM is looking at it. DOM being the Document Object Model team. That's what I mean by DOM. So what did I want to work on today? Two things. I think there's a bug for this. Let me just check my active bugs list. Right, this is the bug. So I have a couple of picture-in-picture bugs in flight that I want to work on and polish up. This one's almost done, and I just need to polish it and get it up for review. I don't know if there are any notes for that one. Oh, of course there are. I was looking at them just now. And so let me share those notes with you. And then the other thing I want to look at is writing some documentation. So there's actually a bug for that too. Add entry documentation for this. So I know that might not be the super funnest, but it's super necessary to write documentation for stuff, especially as more and more things need to be made fission compatible. Fission is the nascent out-of-process iframe project for Firefox, and as we make more and more inroads on making out-of-process iframes a reality, we need to make sure that people are making sure that their code is fission compatible. So writing some documentation will really help there. So I'm going to share this note, even though it's empty. As I populate it, you can follow along. That's what I'm hoping to get done today. And also a reminder, there's no episode next week due to the fact that I'm going on vacation. So this is blocked. This one's blocked. This one, I think this is done. This one I think is fixed. Yeah, this one's fixed, so close that one out. I think this one's also fixed. No, that one's not fixed, but this one is, I believe. Yes, this one's fixed. And this one's waiting on review. This one I have a patch for. I just need to finish it up. So maybe we can add this one to the list as well. Although I think we're going to need a little bit of, we're not going to be able to use it or land it for review, put it up for review right away because we need a little bit of extra feedback on this one, but maybe we can make some inroads on making it more ready. So let's add that one to the list. Where was that one? Right, keyboard only. All right, no, I want the note. So now that I've sort of populated the agenda, probably something I should have done before the episode, now we can get started. Sorry, but that's what we're doing here. You're watching me doing what I would actually do. And this is what I would actually do. I would set up what I want to work on in the right order, and then we would get started. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I've been working on is this picture-in-picture context menu thing. And I actually have that running on my Windows box. So let's log into my Windows box and take a look. And I'm going to do that with Microsoft Remote Desktop. That's how I connect to my Windows box. Okay. And what have I got so far? So I've got a couple of patches on the stack so far. A couple of things that are all kind of being worked on at the same time. There is the ability, so I've kind of added two of these to the list already. One is to make a keyboard shortcut available so that you can hit some keyboard shortcut and then you can enter picture-in-picture for the first video of a focused window. So that is kind of our compromise for users who don't use a mouse but want to use picture-in-picture, because that's, it's a great feature. Why wouldn't you want to use picture-in-picture? But if they don't have a mouse, then the toggle is actually very inaccessible for many video sites. Not all video sites, but many, especially the ones that prevent you from focusing the video, because that's where the toggle is. It's actually embedded in as part of the video element in the shadow DOM. And sites like YouTube actually prevent you from focusing the video directly. So if you're only using a keyboard, you cannot hit the toggle. You cannot trigger the toggle. So I've added a mechanism. Here, I'll show you. I will show you. First of all, I better make sure. Oh, why is everything the wrong dimensions? I need to move this window. Oh, there we go. Just a little bug there from, I think, when the desktop thing, the remote Windows desktop thing. Oh, this looks terrifying. Let's see. Let's pick a non-terrifying. Let's look at some hockey. Let's look at some good old Canadian hockey. Hockey clip. Sure, using 1,000 pucks in hockey warm-ups. This sounds like great. So I'm going to mute this because I don't actually care about the sound. And I'll notice that picture-in-picture is disabled right now, like the toggle's not appearing. So let's enable that. One of the things I've done is I've actually made it so that when you change this toggle, it takes effect immediately. So now the toggle appears. So that's one of the other patches in the stack. So before I talk about that, let's talk about the keyboard shortcut. For now, the keyboard shortcut is Control-Alt-P. And that works. Control-Alt-P. Also, if you have the picture-in-picture window open and the originating window open, we'll put it back. And that works, I think, on all. That should work on all sites. Let's go to Twitch and check that out. If I go to Twitch and I'm watching like a Twitch video and oh, this is a cool video. Someone's playing a video game. Very neat. I hit Control-Alt-P. Boom. I have the video in an always on top window, and now I can go on and read some documentation while this person plays video games. Cool. So that is one thing I've been working on, and the reason that still needs a little bit of massaging before it goes into review is keyboard shortcuts are localizable, because I chose P kind of arbitrarily. I chose P because of picture-in-picture, but the character P, let alone the letter P, might not match to the meaning of picture-in-picture in other languages. They might have a different Latin character representing picture-in-picture, or the letter P might not be even on that keyboard that the users are using in a particular locale. So we have to make it localizable for it to make sense in a particular region, in a particular locale. So that's the work that needs to be done for the keyboard shortcut. That's one thing I've been working on. The second thing I've been working on, and that maybe we can look at today, let's go back to YouTube. Let's look at that hockey video again. Sure, best of the NHL or something. Is some users find that this toggle is annoying. It's in the way. They don't like it. They don't know what it is. They want to get rid of it. And it's not immediately obvious that you have to flip a pref in order to get rid of it. But what we've done is we've made it so that if you right-click on it, we expose a context menu for the toggle, and then you can hide it immediately. And then it's gone. Now, at that point, you can't get it back unless you flip the preference back here again. and then it's back. But one of the things I want to do on top of that is add something to about preferences so that users could go like re-enable it. I don't know where it would go. I have to talk to some of our designers about where it makes sense inside of about preferences to like maybe here under browsing. I don't know. Files and applications maybe. It's unclear, but I think I want to try and add a checkbox here so that users can re-enable the feature. Because right now it's very easy to disable it, but then what do you do if you want it back? No recourse. So that's what I've got. That's what's on the stack. And that's what I'm hoping we can clean up and maybe put up for review today. So let's take a look. Yeah, so these are the patches. This is the keyboard shortcut. This fixes a weird, like an error that was showing up in the console a lot. It turns out I was accidentally not removing an event listener when I should, and I need to file a bug for this. So I'm actually going to file a separate bug for this and make that. We'll do that today. And then the first part for the context menu was to make it so that the picture-in-picture toggle, the pref was live updating, so that when you flip the pref, it happens immediately. And then the next one was to actually add the context menu item, which flips the preference. I'm pretty sure this is mostly done. It just needs a little bit of documentation and explanation. And then this one up here needs the localization work. However, let us start with the keyboard shortcut patch. So let's go down here. We're going to check out this one. Let me pump up the font too, because it might be difficult to see what I'm writing. Font. I'm at 16. Let's make it 24. There we go. So now I've got the patch. Let's take a quick peek. So here's how it works. So the browser UI, a browser Windows UI, is composed of all of these nodes, XML nodes. This is a special node called a command node. A command node maps an ID, a command, to like an actual like JavaScript. Like whenever this command is executed, then it will run this JavaScript and pass along the command event. And then what you're able to do then is connect a key node to a command. And the reason why we have that abstraction, like why wouldn't you just like go from key to running this JavaScript, is because sometimes you want to be able to do something with both a keyboard shortcut or a button press or a menu item. And so this is a way of having sort of a centralized place. You connect to the button press and you connect the key and you connect the menu item to the same command, and then the command is what runs the JavaScript. It's like a single choke point for what runs the JavaScript. And the reason for that is because sometimes you want to have these different ways of getting to the same command, and you also want them to all behave the same way. So for example, in certain situations, we might want to disable the command. We want to make it so that, if you're like the cut, copy, and paste commands don't make sense if you don't have any text selected. And we have lots of different ways that you can do cut, copy, and paste. And instead of having them all do the same logic of, is the command for cut active every time you use the keyboard shortcut or menu item or menu button or something like that, you have the command be set to disabled in the event that no text is selected. You just say, okay, command, you're disabled, so that any of the keys or menu items or buttons that are trying to use the command, they know, oh, the command's disabled. And that's actually reflected in the command, in those entries themselves. Like the keyboard shortcut will be ignored, but the menu button will be disabled and the toolbar button will be disabled. And that's why, for example, if we go back to the browser here, I believe, maybe cut, copy, and paste weren't the best examples. Because right now they're enabled. What's a good example of something that's only available whenever you in certain commands? Let's see. I guess undo and redo, where there are also keyboard shortcuts. Yeah, now that's available. And I don't know if there's No, I don't think there's an undo redo in the menu here. But like the keyboard shortcut would be ignored if, because of the command being disabled in the event that I hit like Command Z. Now redo is enabled. And it's all because they go through the commands. This is a sort of a long explanation that does not matter, and I should probably just get to work. Although there is a question in IRC. Does that make sure that the key shortcut can't be overridden by a web page? For example, Control B is override in Facebook Messenger. Oh, Facebook and Messenger.com, and it prevents me to open the sidebar bookmark as long as I don't click outside the message input. I think the rules are different depending on what you have focused. Because certainly there are editors like rich text editors that want to be able to like bold the text with a particular shortcut, and Command B also opens the bookmarks menu. And so I believe, how does it work? I think for that particular case, for Command B, we ask content first whether or not they're going to handle it, because that we don't want to do both. We don't want to both have you bold the text and open the bookmarks tool, sidebar. And we definitely, if you have text selected and you hit Command B, you almost certainly want to have it bolded rather than open the sidebar. So there's a little bit of a heuristic there, I think. But I think we query content before we handle it for that particular case. It'll be different from case to case, I think. Hopefully that answers your question. Danny Colin, let us continue. So I explained a little bit about these XML nodes here, command and key. And so I've got this command called view : picture in picture, just to kind of blend in with these other view ones. Because I feel like picture in picture is very similar to reader view. You're asking the page to go into a particular mode. Here we're asking the pages, the first video, to go into a particular mode. So I felt like that might make sense calling it view. But maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. And then I've got a hard-coded the letter P and accelerator, which is Excel is control on Windows and Linux, and it's the command button on Mac OS, and Alt. So Control Alt P will cause the menu the command to run on Windows, and Command Alt P will cause it to run on Mac OS. And that's hard coded, and we should change that. And then I've got this special function inside picture in picture that's called key toggle. This is what runs inside the content process. So it will receive this message from the parent saying, "Hey, we're trying to toggle picture in picture here with the keyboard." And so what we'll do is we'll find the focused window, and then we'll get the first video, and we'll toggle picture in picture on it. And here's the thing that actually handles the command in the parent process, and we send the message down to the content process to say, "Hey, toggle the key." Or toggle the video. And then there's just a little bit of plumbing here to make sure everyone's ready for the message. So what I need to do now is I've got the documentation in here. That's all quite nice. I just need to set up the I think I just need to set up the key and have that work. Key code. Yeah, I need to make this localizable. So we'll use an example like reader mode, or toggle reader mode key. Where is that, for example? Let's take a look where that is. Oh, come on. There we go. Let's look this up. So we have this big mapping for the ENUS locale that maps toggle reader mode key to the letter R for reader mode. So let's maybe add one to this list for toggle picture in picture dot key, and we'll make it the letter P. And like I'll have to run this by our like menus and localization people to make sure that this keyboard shortcut makes sense for English and that it will work for other locales. But at least I'll be able to post it up for review and get feedback. So let's start with Let's add something to this list. What was this file? Browser.ttd dtd. This is the path. Let's go back to our editor here. Right, and then we're looking for reader mode. There's reader mode. So we're going to add a new one here. We're going to say entity toggle picture in picture.key. We're going to say the letter P for now. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to drop it into the browser. What was it? Browser XHTML, or was it browser sets? Picture in, I think it was browser sets here. Yeah, and I'm going to put the entity here. And then that should be localized. Cool. Now I don't exactly know who I need to talk to about whether or not this is the right keyboard shortcut, but let's put it up for review and we'll find out. Timmy, or Tim, I think it's Timmy in the Twitch channel asks, do you know if there are any plans to convert to TypeScript, or are you already using TypeScript in certain places? I don't believe we're using TypeScript anywhere except maybe some of our benchmarks. TypeScript. Let's see. Yeah, the TypeScript compiler is part of like the Octane benchmark. But actual TypeScript itself, I don't think we have anything. I think those tend to end with like .ts. And I don't. Oh yeah, as part of like the Angular stuff, as part of speedometer. So again, it's only part of our test suites. Like for example, making sure that our dev tools work with TypeScript. What is this? HLS. Oh, that's a binary file. That is not what we want. So the answer is no, but I do know that at least the DevTools team was considering using Flow to do static analysis, or no, not static analysis, to do type checking, to make type stricter, because I do believe that that's one of the strengths of TypeScript, is that you can like declare your types, and it makes it a lot harder to do accidental coercion, and the loose typing of JavaScript, you can kind of work around all the bugs therein. But I don't know where that project has gone. We've actually recently, in an effort to modernize our JavaScript, we've started to use prettier.js to do formatting, which is nice. And then I think the idea is in the future we'll be able to do more with modern JavaScript tools like Flow or TypeScript to give us some of the niceties. But to answer your question, I don't know of any plans yet to convert any of our code base to TypeScript, and we do not appear to be using TypeScript in certain places outside of tests. So there's your answer, Timmy. All right, so I have amended. Let us now post this up for review. Now I actually don't know if Jason Voorhees is the right reviewer for this. I'm gonna ask him to review the picture-in-picture parts. But I'm going to ask Heist I'm going to ask Matt. Well, Matt might be busy. I wonder if Neil would be interested in reviewing some of this stuff. Neil Deacon. So what I'm going to do is, before I do any of this, I'm going to say mozfab submit tip, and I use the whip tag there, --WIP. What that does is it puts the patch up for onto Fabricator, but it doesn't actually request review, and that's so that I can at least point to the patch and ask some of the people, who might know about what we should do with keyboard shortcuts, whether or not command Command or Control Alt P makes sense for Windows, etc., etc. Oh, I'm getting a confirmation from Andy that the YouTube stream looks good and the Twitch looks good too. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Thanks, Andy. Okay, so we've got our patch up here. Let's take a quick peek. I'm gonna ask our UX team. Hey UX team, if I wanted to add a new keyboard shortcut to a feature in the main browser window. So accessible, it launches picture in picture for the first video in the selected tab, first video in the focused window frame of the selected tab. Do I need to run that by someone in UX first? Or is the selection of the keyboard shortcut more of a localization team thing? Okay, so yeah, here's the patch. It's all up for review. So I'm gonna wait until I hear back. Right now it says whenever you post anything to Fabricator, it starts secure and then it is opened up publicly unless it's part of a security bug. And that's because we don't want people to be able to like see all of the patches we're putting up for security bugs while they're still being worked on, because that's a bad idea. Cool, cool, cool. Andy just pasted me screenshots of like my face doing this in 3 different ways. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Andy. He's showing that I'm streaming correctly across Air Mozilla, YouTube, and Twitch, and it feels good. Glad the repeater's working today. Woo! Thumbs up, thumbs up. Thanks, Andy. So this is up and ready to roll. I'm gonna wait on that information from the UX team. It looks like someone is typing. I'll wait until I hear back, but for now, I'll leave this be. But I'll mention here, I have a patch up here that adds a keyboard shortcut, Control Alt P, Command Alt P to enter picture-in-picture for the selected tab for the, what is it? First found video in the focused frame of the selected tab. I'm asking UX, or I'm in the process of reaching out to UX to find out whether or not this keyboard shortcut needs to be run by anyone first. UX, localization, etc. Once I have that information, I'll request review. Done. So the next thing is I wanted to file a bug for this issue. And I'll show you what that issue is in just a sec, because I want to be able to, when I file the bug, I want to be able to, oh, Steven says we should definitely talk about it. But as far as I know, we don't have an official process for this. Okay, cool. Can I need info you on the bug to get feedback? Or would you like a test build? So waiting on, so I'm getting responses right away. That's nice. It's good to hear from people ASAP. Okay, so we've got our rebase done here. Oh, a lot of fans of Jason Voorhees, or at least Danny. Danny is a big fan of Jason Voorhees' Irascenic. I agree. I think it's hilarious. So what is this bug and how does it work? Well, let me show you. I can actually show you. I'll show you without the fix so that you can see the bug. Or is there someone else? Okay. What do I want? Hockey. Let's choose a different sport. Cricket. Let's choose cricket. Just picking a sport out of the air. And I need to have picture-in-picture enabled again. And because I don't have, oh, it is updating live. How did that work? Well, good to know. So what's the bug? The bug is, let us open up the browser content toolbox. So one of the things that picture-in-picture does is it captures mouse click events whenever you're touching the picture-in-picture button. Or like it captures every single mouse click event on a page to see whether or not you're clicking on the picture-in-picture button. And the reason for that is because we want to definitely avoid telling the page that you've clicked on the picture-in-picture button. Like, for example, let's say that this was an advertisement for, like, I don't know, shaving cream or something, or I don't know, shampoo. And you don't, you want to open this whole video up in a picture-in-picture. When you click on this, oftentimes when you click on a video that's showing an advertisement, it actually takes you to the advertiser's page. We want to avoid that if you're clicking on the picture-in-picture button, because the user is not expressing an intent to click on an advertisement. They're clicking on it, and they're expressing intent to open in picture-in-picture. So we want to override those clicks. In order to do that, we listen to all of the clicks on a page and we check to see if we're within the picture-in-picture rect. And if we are, then we cancel them all. We don't even let them reach content. So we have this listener. Now the problem is that that listener is never removed properly. So let me reload the page. And now if I click somewhere, check out the console over here. I'm going to actually clear it out, but I'm going to click on the page. Hang on. Oh, where's the bug? Did I not build? Maybe I didn't build. I think I didn't build. That might be the problem. Yeah, I didn't build. That's why the pref took effect immediately. I was curious about that. I'm like, that's magical. How'd that happen? Okay, so let's do those steps again. Let's choose a different sport. Today is, let's watch people play dodgeball. Professional dodgeball. Men Gold Canada versus USA. All right. So let's open up the content toolbox. So clicking around, open up picture-in-picture, close it. I don't even know if that's necessary. You just need to be on a page with a video where the toggle appeared. And now I reload the page and I click. Oh, come on, where's this bug? What are the steps to reproduce the issue? Don't remember. Unless maybe I'm looking at the wrong frame. Maybe I just have to float over it and then the page needs to page hide. So if I go to like cbc.ca now, Huh. Where was the bug? Let's look at the debugger. Remove event listener. Here, remove mouse button listeners. This is what's never being called. And then we add them here and we never remove them. Because we never, yeah, because this is nonsense. So the page hide event is a document, and then, or the target is a document, and document.top is undefined. This should be we should be looking at the window top, not the document top, and I made a mistake there. Ooh. Sign has been working on a way to use Bugzilla for sign feedback requests. Not sure if it's active. Okay. Let's see here. So what did I want to do? I want to demonstrate the issue. The way that we demonstrate the issue, let's watch women's field hockey. What? How come I? Oh, it's because I'm stuck in the debugger. Yeah, all right. So we have now added a pointer down event listener. Women's field hockey. USA versus England. Okay, so we add the mouse button listeners. Cool. And I'm clicking around, and so the pointer down event listener is probably running. Pointer down, on pointer down. Like, yep, that's there. That's there. Cool. So I'm gonna now detach, and now we're gonna unload the page. I'm gonna go to like, let's go to cbc.ca. Now the page hide event listener never ran, or the removing of the event listeners never ran. Oh, now I'm adding event listeners again. Pointer down. I don't think I did a really good job of demonstrating that now. Page hide. Let's put that back. Let's go back to YouTube. I'm hitting all of those because all the subframes that we're page hiding. So we're adding listeners, and instead of breakpoints, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a log point. Where is it? On pointer down. Or actually, I'm going to add a log point here. Add log point console.log event.type. And here I'll add another one. Console.log pointer down. So now I should probably be seeing a bunch of, yeah, logging. Got some undefines in there. Click and undefined. Console log. Mouse up. pointer down. Is this one? Edit log, console log, pointer down. Is that the one that it doesn't like? That'd be crazy. No, it's something else. Notice I have lots of them though. I think that's part of the problem, is that like I'm handling all of these every time. Like I have multiple running. Like how many clicks was that? How many mouse ups? How many mouse downs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because the event listener is never removed. And now if I unload the page by going to example.com, then where am I? Paused on breakpoint. Where am I? On page hide, I never remove the mouse button listeners. I never remove them. I just skip over removing them every time. Now I'm clicking, and what's happening? Yeah, the mouse click listeners are still like firing, even though there's no like there's no video on the page. So this is a problem. Now what happens if I like force CC, force GC? I wonder if that has something to do with it. No. Now I'm going to enter here, state. And we just bail out. Okay. Well, I had this like exception that was being thrown before. Now I can't reproduce it, but I can at least file the bug saying that we don't ever properly return or I never properly remove the mouse event listeners. So let us file a bug for that. Toolkit, audio. Picture in picture toggle mouse event listeners never removed on page hide. We have, let's find the code, child.jsm, page hide. In bug such and such, I added code here. To remove the mouse event listeners on page hide. Page hide event target. Sent to a window. Page hide. Where is that? Event target. Yeah, it's the document. To remove the mouse event listeners on page hide, we check here to see, we also we check the, to ensure that the event is firing for the top level document rather than any subframes. Unfortunately, that check is broken because a page hide event's target is a document, and document.top doesn't exist. So we keep bailing out of this page hide event listener. What we should be doing is checking if the event.target matches event.target.ownerGlobal.top is equal to event.target.ownerGlobal. Should probably be doing. That way we detach the event listeners on page hide. This is probably a bit of a leak here. We're just slowly accumulating event listeners and never removing them, which are mostly inert, never removing them. Okay, so I'm going to make that a P3 or a P2 priority. This is pretty high priority, but not like emergency pants on fire priority, but it's pretty high priority. I'm going to take it. I'm going to make it block milestone 3. And call this a defect. Okay, so now I have a bug number, and if I go back over here, I can go up top. Oh, now I should demonstrate that my patch works, that we actually remove those event listeners. Here's the patch. Right, I say that the event target is the doc, and I say, well, if your owner global top is the owner global, then remove the mouse button listeners. So let's build and take a look. Okay. What's another good sport? Field hockey. How about basketball? Let's watch the Toronto Raptors. All right. So we're adding our mouse button listeners right here. Actually, and then I'll put a breakpoint here in the removal as well. Okay. So yeah, play. Event listeners are here. We got our picture-in-picture working. Now I'm going to migrate away. I'm going to go to example.com. And we're removing our event listeners. Now, weird. I'm still seeing event listeners firing here. So maybe this isn't working properly. Content window root. Remove event listeners. I do see just like single events, mouse down, mouse up, click. You know, hang on. I have a feeling that the reason I'm seeing undefined is because I did this wrong. I think I should be like just doing that instead of console log. Yeah, that's what's expected. Okay. And now let's go forward. Back. How about if I go to cbc.ca. Huh. Where's my page hide event listener? Maybe this isn't working like I thought. Are we not even entering it at all? We don't even seem to be entering it at all. Page hide. How's the page hide event listener work? Track originating video. Originating window. Is there a page hide on the actor definition? Actor, manager, parent, picture. Yeah, page hide, right here. Oh, maybe I was stuck at a breakpoint, that's why. Yeah, now I'm page hiding, okay. Now I remove mouse event listeners. Remove, remove, remove. And then not at the top level. So this isn't working. Oh, and then play. This isn't working exactly as I had expected. So we have still some work to do here. I thought that was fixed, but it's not. Okay, what's wrong? When do we add these mouse button listeners? Window root. When we begin tracking. We begin tracking if we see that there's at least one video. And we remove the mouse button listeners here as well. Here, I suspect that what we have here is a conflict. Maybe we have multiple picture-in-picture toggle childs here. So I'm gonna validate that hypothesis with some logging. We're gonna have this process global ID, and then I'm gonna say like this.id equals gid. And then what I want to do is I want to say when we register I'm going to say, maybe that's just enough. I can do the rest in the debugger with log points. Like maybe a subframe, a picture-in-picture child in a subframe is getting us here. Okay. So I'm going to turn this into a log point. this.id, adding mouse button listeners. Removing mouse button listeners. Okay, now let's go to example.com. Why did that not ever print? Removing mouse button listeners now. Added mouse button listeners now. Removing mouse button listeners. Okay, now I'm gonna add a breakpoint. Okay, what's this.id 2? Plus this.id. Can I do that? Oh yeah, now it's doing them. All right, so I don't know if I need the parens here. Yeah, I just wasn't seeing the logging before. Plus this.id. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this. I'm going to get rid of the warnings only. I'm just going to look at logs and errors. Removing mouse button listeners 2. Removing mouse button listeners 6. Adding mouse button listeners 7. So we have mouse button listeners. Removing mouse button listeners 7. Now what I want to do is in the mouse pointer down, like the event handlers, event heard for actor this.id. For actor 0, there's an actor 0. It's heard for actor 0 and actor 8. And then it's only ever heard for actor 0. So there's like this actor 0 that never goes away. So the question is, when do we register actor 0 and why do we never deregister actor 0? Okay, let us close this. We're going to get a new content process. And now we're going to go to YouTube again. Removing mouse button or listener 0, adding mouse button listeners 1. Heard it for 1. Now we go to here. We've got them for both, 1 and 2. And now I go to example.com. Here for actor 1. So I think I have a sense of what's going on here. It's like we'll add the mouse button listeners if we notice that tracking mouse button listeners. Why did we create a new actor? Create a new actor. let's do another thing here. This dot is top level equals this dot content dot top equals this dot content. I got a feeling that's not going to be the case. One new actor for each content process? I don't think so, because we're only ever dealing with a single content process per tab. Like, we're not switching between content processes. Plus, the browser content toolbox only attaches to one content process at a time. So we are within a single content process. So let's start with this content process. We're going to attach. And then we're going to go to YouTube. And we added mouse button listeners probably because of this advertisement. That makes sense. I'm going to, this is top level. And then the pointer down handler, the event handler. Okay. So we hear it for a subframe. We registered an actor for a subframe to start. That's what happened. Which makes sense. This is an advertisement in a subframe. And then we go to this website. Let's, log point through on line 253. Oh, forgot the plus, my bad. Is top level true? So there's an actor still for the subframe, and but the subframe is gone. Maybe it's hidden. Let's find out. Click event heard. Okay. This dot content location spec, our content location to string. It's empty. This dot content top is null. It's a detached window. Okay. So that's a problem. That iframe went away and we did not we didn't hear about it. So we didn't detach our page hide event listener. Huh. Okay. Now if I go to example.com, removed, so we've got this like ghost window. Yeah, we're keeping that window alive. this dot content doc shell is null. This dot doc shell. There we go. Current URI dot spec. Oh, so we are pointed at something. This dot ID is 1. Why didn't we detach ourselves? All right, let me try something. I've got an idea. Maybe we're just doing all the deregistration all wrong. There is a function that I'm aware of that I think we can attach to our actors to clean up this dot remove mouse button listeners. Maybe we always just want to remove the mouse button listeners, regardless of whether or not. Maybe we always just want to do that. But I suspect that we want to do it anytime we are destroyed. I think we want to do that in this cleanup function. Let's find out. Example.com. Let's open up our content toolbox. So no click event listener registered there. Let's go to YouTube. We'll get rid of this click event listener. We've got our click event listener now. Let's go to this video. Now we've only got top level 2 listening to it. Now if we go to example.com, we've detached. Great. Back to YouTube. Great. And then here. That works nicely. Go back. Just one. And now we go to my website. We're detached. Okay, I have a feeling that is the right approach. That appears to be right. We don't even have to worry about the top level going away. We can get rid of this page, hide event listener. We just use the cleanup method. Toggle no longer needs to handle this. Let's get rid of our testing code here. GID is top level. Okay. Waiting for Mercurial to do its thing, and now I will actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to update the commit message. Then we should run the tests, then we should post it for review. ensure that we properly detach event listeners, window root event listeners in picture toggle child. We were using page hide, the page hide event before, incorrectly. The page hide event target was being inspected to see if it was the top level frame, and and only then would we remove the mouse event handlers on the window root. The problem is that event.target.top on a page hide event is undefined, since the event target is a document. Further, we probably want to remove any window root event listeners that were registered for subframes as well. I'm not sure why I decided to try to filter out subframes, but that definitely can keep Windows alive. So instead, I'm using the cleanup method that actor manager child calls if defined on an actor child, which runs when the associated frame unloads. This way, if a subframe happened to have registered a window root event listener, it'll get unregistered. Cool. So let's run those tests. Moki test, toolkit, components, picture-in-picture. Make sure they pass, and then we'll post it up for review. And then I think we might call it there, actually, because we're pretty close to time. I didn't expect that that last one. I thought it was just going to be a little bit of a breeze, a little bit of clean up and post it, but there was a problem with it, and I think we fixed it. Okay, apparently the person I want to talk to is Asa about the keyboard accessibility. Hi Asa, you were suggested as a potential source of feedback for the keyboard shortcut here. Does my selection of control command alt P make sense, or is something else, or should we go for something else? Lisa. Okay. All tests passed. Great. Thanks. I'll need info Asa on the bug. Let's take a quick peek at this final patch. Nice verbose commit message. We'll mention the cleanup, and we can get rid of the page hide there. Okay. Submit. Actually, I can probably base this off of rebase rtip central. Probably want that to land before the keyboard shortcut, or it's more likely to land before the keyboard shortcut. Well, folks, I hope you know, we're not done just yet, but I'm going on vacation next week, and I wanted to let you know that I'll miss you. I'll miss live hacking next week, but I'll be back the week after, and then I'm gone again. So there'll be like no episode, then an episode, and then a no episode, and then I'm back to regularly scheduled episodes for the foreseeable future. Just a little bit of vacation there, a little bit of R&R. I hope if this is a time of the year that you know you get an opportunity to have some vacation, that you take it. You know, rest. It's a good idea to rest. Like my computer appears to be resting right now, dealing with Mercurial. I don't know why it's resting. Oh, I'm getting some enjoy your vacations in the Twitch channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm also seeing. Sorry, I missed this. Apparently, we should have looked at a basketball as a video instead of basketball. I remember it when I was younger watching basketball. Yeah, an often funny film. Danny Colin says, would it be nice to have an About Shortcuts page where we could configure all Firefox shortcuts? So there was the idea of having something called the HUD, which would like at least list all the keyboard shortcuts. And that project kept getting stalled. Like a shortcut HUD. It kept getting stalled. Where is this rebase happening? It says 1 second, but I don't believe you. It's behind my head here. Hang on. See how it says 1 second remaining? It's been saying 1 second for like a minute now. I don't believe you. Finish the rebase, and so I can finish the episode. All right, I'm gonna give it 10 more seconds to finish this rebase, and then I'm going to just start bombarding it with sounds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, you asked for it.
It's me, Mario. Okie dokie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. Danny Collins like, is there a Bugzilla link or anything else about that HUD? Yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, bug 4925557. This really old bug. Oh man, when was the last time this was touched? 4 months ago. It was unassigned due to a long period of inactivity. I think a volunteer contributor was working on this, and it just kept getting bumped. Maybe someone watching this would like to work on it. Let me put the link in the agenda. HUD bug. Keyboard shortcut HUD bug. There it is. Now I will sync. And so if you go to the agenda, I can also point you out the bug number is 492557. 4 years ago this was last looked at, and I believe the idea is that this is a mentored bug that is currently unassigned. This was like a screenshot of the feature, and this was a long time ago. That was 7 years ago. This is a more recent screenshot, but even then that's a while ago. And then it's been a long time since I think this was touched. But you might want to take a look. I'm not a CDev, but I can help with the front end. I believe all of this, let's take a look at the current patch. Let's see what it was written in. I think it's a little bit of Zool and then a bunch of JavaScript. So there you go. Here's a bunch of JavaScript. You might want to take a look at the patch. It might need a bunch of updating and cleaning up. And you might want to just check through the history of the bug to look at what the state of things need to be in. And you should reach out to Mike DeBoer, who is signed on as the mentor here. You should need info him on the bug because he can help guide you on to where it is. He is still working on Mozilla things. With the rebase done, let's see here. let's push this up for review. And I'm gonna end the stream there, like that. Hey, thanks so much for watching episode 185 of The Joy of Coding. That was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you being here. If you are interested in contributing to Firefox code, like the keyboard shortcut thing, or maybe you want to start somewhere smaller, I also want to point out that there is a site called codetribute.mozilla.org that will help you find mentored bugs. Bugs that you might want to work on. Code Tribute. Go to Code Tribute if you want to find mentored bugs to hack on. These bugs will be in a variety of languages. You can look and find the language that you feel like you're comfortable with or that you'd like to learn. Maybe you want to learn some more about Rust. There are a bunch of mentored bugs in Rust that you can work on. And they're like tagged with how easy we think they are. And the mentors, you need info them on the bug and they'll guide you through. So check out Code Tribute if you feel like hacking on stuff. And with that, I'm calling it there. I will see you in 2 weeks' time with episode 186. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. Oh man, did you notice that the background kept changing color? Yeah, it keeps doing that. That's weird. It's the lighting in here. All right. Well, take care. I'll see you the week after next. See ya. Bye-bye. See ya.